So, the Montreal Canadiens have themselves yet another game later today. And we can dive into that. We can talk about the Rangers. They're playing off against New York. The Rangers haven't been very good, by the way. So let's hope that the Canadiens can get something going here in today's contest. But instead of previewing that game, or talking about the magic that was the Nashville game a few nights ago, I wanted to get into a more, honestly, kind of depressing update with this hockey team. And it's not necessarily like an update like, oh, something happened, but it's more so just commenting on the status quo of how things are. Because today, I wanted to head over to a Twitter video that was posted by Stasi Sergeant Deputy on Twitter that kind of made me sad. He posted this video on October 14th, so 4 days ago, to 774,000 views, and it says, "Good morning." This 34-second video is an edit of an old Patrik Laine with the Winnipeg Jets scoring some amazing highlight reel goals and just doing things that we haven't seen this guy do, honestly, in years. And the post is kind of sad. A lot of people in the replies, kind of sad. "Man, what changed?" Mike Vini said. "The Jets' bullying, injuries, mental health issues. Remember when they said he was better than Matthews? He used to be so silky." And this was in the back of my mind for a few days. The Patrik Laine video, the highlights, the goals that he would score. I'll leave a link in the description to this video posted by Stasi, because it's honestly quite disheartening when you read some of this stuff. Injuries mainly ruined him, and currently a lack of trust and opportunity. How is he supposed to get back to this, playing fourth line and 13 minutes a night? He averaged more points per game than Slafkovsky last year, playing 3.5 minutes less per game with worse players. And then another reply says that Wheeler and Scheifele have blood on their hands. Patrik Laine, and the story of what he once was, is always going to haunt Winnipeg Jets and NHL fans in general. When he was a 44-goal guy in his second year in the NHL. That was his 19-year-old season, that Patrik Laine, and he scored 70 points in 82 games played. Now, we all recognize what happened over the next few years, but this becomes a lot more depressing when you look at how Laine is being... I was going to say how he's being used, but I don't know if that's really fair to Martin St. Louis. Essentially, what's happening with Laine now? Because in 2025-2026, Patrik Laine has 1 assist in 5 games. He's a -3. We all know he's not on the top power play anymore. Zachary Bolduc essentially took his spot. And if you've been watching the Canadiens, you know that top power play, it's pretty good. Suzuki, Caulfield, Slafkovsky, Hudson, Bolduc. That second unit with Noah Dobson, Laine, and Ivan Demidov, it doesn't really get much time, realistically speaking. And Patrik Laine this season has been played a maximum of 13:45 in 1 game. All the other games he's had, he wasn't played as much. But I think the biggest and most depressing thing about this Laine situation is what happened 2 nights ago, when Cole Caulfield scored the game-tying goal against the Nashville Predators after Lane Hudson knocked the puck down, and he got it up to Caulfield, and then the goal was scored, and it was so amazing, and everybody was so happy that they tied it. But here's a picture of the Montreal Canadiens bench reacting to that tying goal. Notice anything interesting? You've got Caden Gooley yelling like a madman on the side. The goaltender Jakub Dobesh is there with his arms raised. Strubal's looking like he's having a ball. The team looks hyped, with the exception of Patrik Laine, who's sitting down there looking up, stick tapping. That's it. And then the Montreal Canadiens, they later on posted the bench reaction to Caulfield's overtime winner. And you can see here, everybody, with the exception of Sami Montembeault, the goalie, and Patrik Laine, everybody's standing up. Martin St. Louis standing on the bench. And then Cole Caulfield scores, and then the bench goes nuts. But you can see that even though Martin St. Louis getting animated, even though the players that are all standing on their feet start cheering, the only guy who doesn't seem to move is Patrik Laine. Throughout the entire ordeal, when you go frame by frame, that number 92 is just sitting down. And that's not to, say anything about this guy, he doesn't care about the team. No, I'm not saying that at all. But what I did want to show was a comment from the Habs subreddit that essentially hints at why this is so depressing in my opinion. Take a look at what New F13 went out there and posted. Laine is fighting with demons, that he wants to be that go-to guy and be the clutch guy. But the reality is, he's not the guy he used to be. And that's his sad reality. And it's really unfortunate because if he dialed in on a different role, he could be that guy instead. Further replies say, I don't know, I think his legs are just cooked. Fair, and that sucks. I genuinely hope that he manages the pain and the emotions well. Some cottage weekends with Carey Price. And that's the thing with Patrik Laine. When you watch that old video that was posted on Twitter of all his amazing highlights as a Winnipeg Jet, the biggest thing that you'll notice is that he's moving his feet. He's skating. He's really putting in power through every stride, and that is what allows him to breeze by guys because, I don't know if you noticed, Patrik Laine is a big guy, physical specimen of a human being there. Add to that his pure raw shooting ability, his puck skills. There's a reason why he was a 40-goal scorer at 19 years old. I will say that a lot of the goals that Laine was scoring in that specific Twitter video that went viral, I don't know if those are the kinds of goals that go in a lot nowadays. These are like kind of slap shots from far out where Laine moves around the zone and then he gets into open space, he curls back and then he just fires one in from a whole bunch of feet out. Like, I don't think those are the kinds of shots that players even really attempt anymore. You gotta remember, Patrik Laine and his debut in the NHL was just under 10 years ago, so it's been a while since Patrik Laine was that 40-goal guy. So I do think that part of the way the NHL has grown and how new systems have been put in place that don't necessarily allow for players to just rip slap shots from wherever it is they are on the ice, I do think that that sort of change has impacted the way Laine has differentiated his game. We know now, as a power play triggerman in the OV spot, he is near unstoppable, but outside of that, he's really not effective. And you can say that a lot of that efficiency is because of the lack of him moving his feet. He doesn't really engage in a lot of back checks and defensive-minded rushes as much as he maybe should to be a top star winger in this league. But it's why it's so depressing in my opinion, because before, when Laine was moving his feet and he was skating, he could score 30, 40 goals in his sleep, no problem. But now, it's gotten to a point where, after being the best goal scorer on his team in Winnipeg for a while, now he's in Montreal. Everybody's getting so excited, everybody's seeing Cole Caulfield score these beautiful goals, but Laine is on the bench, and he's the only guy who doesn't look happy. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know Patrik Laine personally, but based off of the way it looks, it does seem like, man, all it looks like that he wants is to be that hockey hero too. And unfortunately, he's not being placed in a position where he can do that. And that's not even, St. Louis' fault. I'm not going to say, oh yeah, no, you should play Laine more because he looks sad. Like, that's just how things have gone down, really. But it's so depressing in my mind, which is why I wanted to shine a spotlight on this topic at hand in this video. Heading into today's contest against the Rangers, we'll see whether or not Patrik Laine is able to get some offense going. He's got 0 goals and 1 assist on the year. It's not looking all too great. Do you expect things to turn around for him quickly? And when do you think they will? At that. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you did not, the dislike button's there for you. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved in the conversation and let me know your thoughts on Patrik Laine and this depressing situation that has really changed the way his career has gone since 2017. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.